Welcome to the rebroadcast of the Power of Processing webinar. All right. Well, hello. Welcome to my very first webinar. I am very, very excited to be here with you all tonight. And thank you so much for registering and reserving your spot to this free webinar. Delighted that you are here. I think that this is going to be a very informative webinar for you. Hopefully, it will help you on your journey in life. And again, I am just delighted that you took the time to be here. So I have a lot to cover, and I want to get to Q&A at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and launch into this power of processing. So one of the things that I'm learning is about our character, and there's this path to growth. And most of us in life have had these experiences where we have fruit in our lives, and it's not always, I would say, the greatest fruit. And so what tends to happen is people begin to yell at our fruit, and they yell at what they don't like about us. And so John Townsend, I'm learning some things in a program that I'm doing with him about our character, and there are four parts to our character. And it's attachment, separation, integration, and adulthood. And as you see here, there's a tree and there's fruit on the tree. And there's three different areas where there's fruit, or we see fruit in people's lives. And it's when dealing with other people, performing, and also in our personal life. And so when people see things they don't like at work, or say in relationships, then they look at the fruit and they begin to yell at the fruit. Well, what I'm learning in this tree model is the fruit is not the problem. Really, in order for the fruit to grow on a tree, there has to be the right amount of relational nutrients, basically to help the root system. And so with that, the relational nutrients, when you're in the right relationships, in the right environments, you will have grace, truth, and time. And once the roots have what they need, it begins to work up the trunk of the tree. And there's four parts to our character that is typically impacted by this root system, because in order for it to have good fruit, it has to work its way from the roots all the way through the trunk to get to the fruit. And so these are the four parts of our character where we may have problems. And so with processing, I'm not going to go into all four of them because that's not the focus of tonight, but we can have issues with attachment. That's our needs not being met. Maybe when we're younger, we can have separation issues, which is more of boundaries and things like that. There's integration, and there's adulthood. Now, I am relating integration to processing, because integration is the ability to take the positive and the negative and have them work together. When we have integration, you can have strong emotions, good or bad, and the good or the bad do not outweigh each other. You're able to balance the two. You will not let bad destroy everything good about the situation. You have to allow the positive and negative to be on level ground. And I feel as though when we are talking about the power of processing, we have to understand and know that we have this ability, and really work on integration if that's an issue, because it's probably producing that fruit of not being able to process, if that makes any sense, and I'm sure it does. So the ability to take the negative and the positive, and I think when we're processing, it's important to do that, and it really does help us to process better. So that's kind of some of the groundwork and some of what's behind this whole idea of the power of processing, because when we learn how to process, when we learn how to take the good and the bad and somehow integrate the two, then we're able to process and we don't get stuck most often in negative mindsets. Okay, so what is this processing? Processing can involve how individuals process information about themselves, their thoughts, emotions, and self-concept. And I am sure most of you, just as I have struggled in those areas. What do we think about ourselves? How do we process our day? How do we process what has happened in our days? It's so important that we learn how to do this, because if we don't, I've worked with people in the past who haven't processed grief, or they've had a job loss and they haven't processed that well. And when we don't process things well, it really impacts us internally. So we have to learn how to move past that. Processing. I'm a believer, and so my faith plays a huge part in my ability to process. And so I was just thinking about some of the things in the Bible that I have seen. Mary pondered after her visit from the angel of the Lord when she was going to be giving birth to Jesus. The angel of the Lord came to her and he told her lots of things, and I'm sure she had to process them. And so I look at that and I think, wow, even Mary, even the Bible talks about processing, and we have to be able, it says she pondered those things in her heart. So she was actually processing the things that she had been told about her son and what was going to happen to him in the future. The scripture also talks about meditating on these things, and that's in 1 Timothy chapter 14, meditating, thinking, pondering, processing. And then also in Philippians 4:8, finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever, all the whatsoevers, if there be any praise, think on these things. So those are all those scriptures all point to processing. So even within our faith, we have to learn how to process. Process is important and it's valuable for each one of us. The importance of processing. It's really processing, daily reflection, taking some time to reflect upon your day. It's a powerful practice, just like I showed you, even from the scriptures, that you can use and utilize to enhance your well-being and personal growth. Taking the time to process your day, assess your thoughts and emotions, and gain valuable insights can lead to increased self-awareness. You're aware of what's going on when you take the time to process. It can help you in decision making. Sometimes we can't move forward in life because we have not taken the time to process things that happen in our day, things that have happened in life in general, things that happen at work, things that happen in relationship with others, and it can have an overall impact on our emotional and our mental well-being. So please, it's important that we learn how to process, because as we learn how to process, what happens is we take those moments and those things, we look at them, we look at the positive, we can gain, hey, what happened good, what happened bad, and maybe move forward to it. And there will be this self-awareness within you about what's going on. It's you won't be out of touch with what happened in your life in certain areas, and actually make better decisions. Benefits of processing: increase self-awareness. Daily reflection allows you to develop a deeper understanding of yourself. By reflecting on your thoughts, feelings, and actions, you become more attuned to your values, your desires, your strengths, your weakness. The self-awareness allows you to make conscious choices aligned with your true self. We have to know who we really are. And if we don't take the time to reflect daily and develop an understanding of what's going on, looking at your thoughts, recognizing triggers, knowing what you feel, not just brushing things over, knowing how you respond to people. Some of us don't respond, some of us react. So recognizing, hey, was that a response or was that a reaction? And there is a difference. There is a difference. I've learned that in my own life. There are times when I respond and there's times when I react. And it's so important to know the difference between the two. It helps with you understanding what your values are when you take the time to process and look at maybe what you focused on that day, what you didn't focus on, what some of your desires are as you process your day. So it's just this coming in touch with who your true self, who you are really, is so important. What's another benefit? Emotional processing. Reflecting on your day helps you process and manage your emotions effectively. We all have emotions and they show up. Sometimes they show up in good ways and sometimes they don't. But we have to understand that we are emotions, and it's not good to just suppress our emotions or ignore our emotions. We need to have some emotional intelligence and know what's going on with our emotions. So emotional processing, looking at your day and say, hey, how did I really feel about the way that that person talked to me, or how that person treated me? It's so important to be able to process our day emotionally, exploring those emotional emotions. You can learn healthier coping mechanisms and reduce stress and anxiety by processing your emotions. Again, we all have them. Sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're excited, sometimes we feel a little anxious, sometimes we feel stressed out, but taking the time to walk yourself through that is so important. More benefits: enhance gratitude and positivity. I recently did a strengths assessment, and one of my top strengths is positivity. I am a very positive person. I do not look at the glass as half empty. For me, the glass is always half full. I have just learned in life that now, does that mean that I'm not processing and I don't think anything is negative? No, that means that I have the ability, as I talked about with integration, I have the ability to look at situations and say, hey, yeah, that may have been a little off there, but in my ability to process, I will look and find something positive out of it. And gratitude is one of those things that helps us with that. When we are thankful, focusing on the positive aspect of our experiences in every situation. I don't think there is a situation that exists that there is not something positive that happened in that situation. But it's when we process that we can find something, maybe it's just minute, but find something positive in it. It says here, it helps you appreciate the small wins, joyful moments, and the blessings in your life. The practice of gratitude uplifts your mood, boosts resilience, and fosters a more positive outlook. So it's so important to have gratitude and positivity. Another benefit is personal growth and learning. Through daily reflection, processing, you can identify patterns and recurring themes in your thoughts, behaviors, and relationships. The self-reflection helps you recognize areas for growth and improvement by learning from your experiences. You can develop new skills, overcome challenges, and evolve as individuals. By learning your experiences, you have this opportunity. And so it's so important you grow and you learn when you're able to process your day on a regular basis. So just remember, if you want to grow and you want to learn, you're going to take the time to look at your good and your bad experiences, process them so that you can see what you learn from them and perhaps gain some new skills. Improve decision making. All of us want to make better decisions. And so processing allows you to do that. You can look at maybe you made a bad decision. You can take the time to reflect upon that. And what it will do is help you to say, okay, that wasn't such a good choice. How can I use this to make better choices in the future? So we want to make sure that we take the time to reflect, process, analyze the outcomes, look at the consequences. Maybe you didn't make the best decision. What was the consequence of the decision that you made? Is that the consequence you want to suffer in the future? You gain insights into what worked well and what could have been done differently. This reflective process enhances your decision-making skills, allowing you to make more informed choices in the future. So from these moments of processing, it can help you to make better choices in the future. And we all know that we have made bad choices in the past, and we don't want to repeat that process. So improve decision making when you take the time to process. Okay, so how do you start this? We see what some of the benefits are. How do we start this processing in our lives on a regular basis? Because if we haven't been doing it, I think we all tend to do it. Sometimes we process, but we're more focused on the negative and we don't get to the positive in it. So how do we begin this? What do? We have to be very, very intentional. Intentionality. We want to set aside time in our day daily to reflect or process. Some of us rise early in the morning. we set our intentions on the day. We look at it and we are ready to go. Some of us are not morning people. We would rather take the time to process in the evening. So choose a time that works best for you, commit to it, and be consistent in it. The important part is being consistent, but definitely set aside some time to do it. Some people may have to process. Maybe you work on a job that's really, really stressful. So maybe you want to take 5 or 10 minutes during a break or a lunch break and process some things that happen. If you're able to do it, some situations I think we need to process immediately, and others we can wait till the end of the day or maybe do it in the morning. Just make sure that you're setting aside time to process, a dedicated time to process your moments, your day, situations, whatever it may be. You want to take time to process. Okay, create a conducive environment. Find a quiet and comfortable space where you can reflect without distractions. It's so important. If you're going to process, you don't have a lot going on in the environment. So find a quiet place. It can be a park. It can be the corner of your house. When my kids were younger, it would be the bathroom. Wherever you can find a place to process, any place that promotes relaxation and you can focus. Find that spot in your house, create an environment, put a sign on the door if you got kids that can read. Maybe they're too young to read. And if they're too young to read, you probably should have someone watching them because there may be a little bit of chaos when you get back if you don't. But put a sign on the door. I'm processing, I'm thinking, I'm meditating, I'm praying, I'm doing something. Let people know that you are taking that time for yourself to process. Journaling. Writing down your thoughts and reflections in a journal is an effective way to facilitate the reflection process. Tips for processing. Start by asking your questions like, what went well today? Some of you will know right off the bat, like, okay, I had a rough day today. Let me evaluate and see what happened. What went well, what didn't go well, what challenges did I face? Be honest in your writing. Some of us are using our phones as notes now to process, and I mean that's fine if you use your phone notes to do that. Allow your emotions and your thoughts to flow. So important that we allow those emotions and thoughts to flow. Journaling, great way to process. Spending time in your journals. If you don't have one, get one and start using it. I was coaching with someone recently and she was saying, hey, I do a lot of journaling. And she says, so what I do at the end is when I get to the end, I turn my whatever I've been journaling about into a prayer. So that is her way of processing. How else? Focus on lessons learned. Yes. During reflection, pay attention to the lessons and insights gained from your experiences. Reflect on how you can apply these lessons to the future to improve your well-being, relationships, and overall life satisfaction. What did I learn from this situation? I remember asking my kids that when different things would happen, I would say, so what did you learn from this? They didn't like that question, but I like to ask that question. When we take the time to process, maybe you had a rough day, maybe things didn't go the way you expected them to do. What did I learn from this? Maybe you made a bad choice. What did you learn from the choice that you made? If you suffer consequences, what did you learn? Maybe you learned that you don't ever want to do that again. I did a internship last year and I found myself in a little trouble in the internship. I made a wrong choice. And the person who confronted me on it, she said that the first thing she noticed is she saw my wheels turning as if I was thinking, what can I learn from this? Because I definitely didn't want to do it again. So what lessons do we learn from it? I think a lot of times we have repeats. We have to repeat, I call them little tests from the Lord. We have to repeat things because we don't learn the lesson that we need to learn. So it's almost like you got to do it again. And sometimes people like to do things over and over again. Well, I don't like to learn the same lessons over and over again. I would rather not do that. I would rather do it one time, see what the lesson is, evaluate it and say, hey, what am I supposed to get out of this, and get what I need and keep it moving. I don't like repeating lessons. I like to focus, get what I learn, and keep it moving. Experiment with different approaches. So some of the ways could be to process is scripture meditation. Maybe you like to focus on scripture and meditate on scripture. Journaling, drawing. Some people like to draw. Some people are very creative. They like to draw. So they may spend time processing, drawing pictures, or just releasing that way. Meaningful conversations with a trusted friend or mentor. I do this. If I have something I need to process through, I might call someone that is trusted, not just anyone, a trusted friend or a mentor, and I will call them and I will say, hey, I need to kind of process something with you. And that has proven to be helpful to me in some instances. So learning how to find someone that you can process through with, trusted friend or mentor. Okay. Just want to chat a little bit more about the power of processing. I have a little bit about me, and I tend to not get stuck in situations. I am one that I think I just learned to process at an early age. And so I tend to I don't always spend, if it's a big issue, I may spend some time, like a dedicated time processing, but I am very good at processing along the way as things happen. I was telling one of my friends, I don't struggle with sleeping because I tend to, I guess, just filter everything out during the course of the day. If something happens, I typically deal with things very quickly. So, like I was saying, when in the situation where I was confronted, I immediately went to my room, and the first thing I did was I prayed, and I just thought through it and recognized my error in it, processed it out, and I was good to go the next day. So I think it's just so important that we learn how to do that quickly instead of getting stuck in situations. Processing, reflecting, again, like I said earlier, looking at the good, looking at the bad, what lessons do I learn from this? And really, really taking those lessons and using them the next day. So often we go through situations, we have a difficult day, and we just want to brush it under the rug and try again tomorrow. And what happens? Okay, so moving forward, remember daily reflection is a personal practice, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's all about carving out time for self-discovery, growth, and nurturing your well-being. It's about your well-being. We want to be healthy in our thinking and our emotions, in our just in life in general. Start small, be consistent, and enjoy the benefits that daily processing brings to your life, because it does, as we talked about earlier, there are benefits to processing, and you want to ensure that you are consistent in this. You're taking the time to process. Again, I work with lots of people in coaching and just in life in general. And a large part of being held back for them is not processing the things that happen. Grief is a huge one. I helped a lady once that had back to back to back to back deaths in her family, and she never processed it. And through coaching, we were able to talk through that. She was able to process the grief, and within, oh gosh, a month or so, she was like a whole new person because she was taking the time to process it, to think it through. She felt because it was so many family members, she just felt kind of like she'd been left alone. And as she processed, she realized that, hey, death is a part of life and it had absolutely nothing to do with her. She needed to go through the grieving process. And once she did that, she just began to soar. So we have to take the time to look at situations in our lives. Work is another area that people struggle. Sometimes we get those bosses that are not very nice. Again, that when we looked at the tree, that's that performance. And it's also not only the performance, but also people. We have to deal with other people. And often we have to, at work, we're performing. And so if we're not taking time in our work lives to process, then we can really get to a place where we're not even really wanting to go into work because we did not process what's going before and what happened the day before or what happened that week. And we just get stuck, and it's not good and it's not fun to be stuck. So taking the time to look at the day and not just brush it off that so-and-so is just like that and I've got to deal with it, but taking that person, looking at your interactions with them, processing it, recognizing if there are things that you could have done better in the situation, or perhaps maybe you need to have a difficult conversation with that person. Or maybe it's just setting boundaries with that person. But if you don't take the time to really look at the interactions with that person or the interaction with the job situation, then you never know how to make it better, what you can do to make it better. Because as I process what I found in every situation, that a lot of times it has absolutely nothing to do with the other person. Yes, that person may be hard to deal with, but what is it that I need to do in myself to interact differently or better? Maybe it's putting up boundaries, maybe not exposing yourself to that person as much as you need. I mean, as much as oops, wow, I just messed that up. Maybe it's not exposing yourself to that person, setting some boundaries. But if you don't, again, if you don't take the time to reflect upon difficult situations, interactions, arguments, things like that, then you don't know how to move forward in that. So again, start small, be consistent, know that it's going to help your emotional well-being in the end if you take some time to process. So I'm going to go back really quickly a few slides because I think a lot of people had some problems getting on. So I'm going to go back very quickly to just the benefits again, real quickly. Benefits: increase self-awareness. You're more aware of yourself when you process. Emotional processing, paying attention to your emotions when we process. What else do we gain? Enhance gratitude and positivity. You're more than likely, when you process, you're going to find something positive in it all. And you can be grateful. Sometimes you have to be grateful for even the things that don't seem that great. The opportunity, be grateful for the opportunity for having some negative experience because you're going to gain something from it. Personal growth and learning. Some of us have goals that we want to achieve. If we don't learn how to process and get unstuck, we're not going to grow and learn. We can grow and learn from every situation. Improve decision making. Make better decisions when you learn how to process. Another benefit. Remember the tips for incorporating it into your day. Set aside dedicated time, create a conducive environment, journaling, writing down your thoughts. Focus on lessons learned. What did I learn from this? Experiment with different approaches, scripture meditation, journaling, drawing. Engage in meaningful conversations with trusted friend or mentor. I'm highlighting trusted friend or mentor because sometimes we process with people who are going to pull you further into negativity. So make sure that it's someone who's going to help move you forward and not pull you into negativity. Moving forward, remember daily reflection is a personal practice and there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's about carving out time for self-discovery, growth, and nurturing your well-being. Start small, be consistent, and enjoy the benefits that daily processing brings to your life. So important to do that. So I want to take a few moments and open it up for Q&A. And I think you can write your chat. I'm going to pause this really quick. I had everyone's video cameras off because I didn't want us to get distracted. So let me see here if I can open the chat. Okay. If you have some questions and you want to write them in the chat, that would be great. Can you guys chat? Anybody have any questions? Any Q&A? Can you guys chat? Do I have a recommended journal for processing? No, I think if you just get your regular journal, you can process. However, I do have a journal that I have. It's called the 30-day journal. Actually, let me get it right here. Glad you asked that question, Paige. I have what's called the Learn Dream Journey. It's an inspirational journal and it's 30 days and it actually asks you questions every single day, has a few short stories in it about lessons that I've learned on my journey. But you are able to, you can purchase this from Amazon. And yeah, it's a great way to learn to process your day every day. So yes, you can use my journal and do this for 30 days, or you can just get a regular journal or notes in your journals. Someone put in the chat, thank you, Lisa. Personally, they have a list of questions that also help guide me. So good. Thank you. Everything has been great. So far, the information is right on point. Thank you for the information. I need to start journaling my thoughts. Yes, start journaling not only your thoughts, but good things that happened, bad things that happened, interactions with people, all those things are so important to do. Any more questions about processing? Journaling app. Okay, so yes, I use a journaling app called Penzu, Penzu. It actually, you can lock it so you don't have to worry about if someone else finds. I use mine for writing my dreams, but it's called Penzu. I have the free version, but you can purchase it, and you know how they have those add-ons and you just can enhance it and change the color of the journal. I think in that journal you can have multiple journals. Yes, reflecting around the same time every day is it's very good practice to do it around the same time every single day. Great practice. Because basically what you do is you train yourself to do it at a certain time of day. Okay, I'm going to think about that at that particular time. It's almost like it's putting yourself on a schedule. It's always good to do things at the same time. Oh, over-processing. Over-processing. Yes, we don't want to over-process. And I think when we set aside time to do what I'm talking about, it keeps us from over-processing, because there are people who something happens and you just go over and over and over and over and over it in your head. And I think what happens is, I actually was coaching with someone last night and we talked about that. She tends to be an over-processor and tends to go to the negative. And she through coaching, she realized that when she journaled, she didn't overprocess. She wrote down whatever it was she was thinking about, and once she did that, then it's like she was able to get out of the negative mindset or continue to overprocess, and because somehow within that she found a way to just neutralize her thinking or whatever she was going through. So that is a really good question. Looking to see if there's any more questions. I typically, I don't know if I think it's just the way that God made me. When I'm with people, I can sometimes help them to process, because it's almost like I can see the deer in the headlights or someone getting stuck, and I may ask questions to them to help them to start to process. So Elisa wrote, what helps me to journal is a gratitude journal. I write 3 things I'm grateful for that keeps me from going negative. Yes, gratitude journals. That is, yes. So I've done that, practiced that, and also helped clients with that, to write down 3 things every day that will help you to process. I'm sorry. Process. I'm so much talking about process. That 3 things a day that you're grateful for. That really, really, really is helpful. It takes you out of that negative mindset. There's something I learned too, and I'm probably not going to get them all right, but it's called happiness habits, I think it's called. But one of them is writing down the 3 things that I'll have to email this out to everyone. So I'll need to write a note if I don't get all 5 of them. But one of them is write 3 things that you're grateful for. The other is most of us don't breathe during a day. So like even taking the time to take a deep breath, like I know on the Apple Watch, you have that whole breathing. I turned it off on mine, right? Because I didn't want to breathe, I guess. But it has that breathing deal. And so if you take the time to take a deep breath during the day, maybe just 60 seconds and just, breathing in and out, man, you realize that we don't breathe a lot during the day. So one is taking a deep breath. The other is writing in a gratitude, writing down 3 things you're grateful for. One is laughing, okay? Taking the time to laugh. A lot of us are so serious, we don't ever take the time to laugh. So, find something funny, a funny video, find a friend that humor is a strength and call them and laugh with them. So laughing. The 4th one is moving 20 minutes a day is the other. They're called the 5 happiness habits. And I don't remember what the 5th one is. I can't remember. I'll have to send that in the email as a follow-up. The 5 happiness habits. So deep breathing, writing in your journal 3 things you're grateful for, laughing and moving. And I don't remember what the last one is, but I will get that one to you. So yeah, those are all things that help us during the day and really keeps us a little on the not so negative side. Any other questions? Keep the questions coming. We have a few more minutes. And yes, this PowerPoint will be available. I will make it available to you. I will send it to all those who registered. And also, I did remember to hit the record button. So it is recording. So we will have our recording. If you want to go back and look at it, I'll probably post it in a private Facebook page. More question. How often will there be a part 2 webinar? I'm going to share with you something at the end, but yes, I do intend to do more webinars. This is my first, but I have some thoughts and some ideas. I'm thinking I want to do one on procrastination. Thumbs up if you want me to do one on procrastination, because I've struggled with procrastination, and sometimes I struggle with procrastination now. So yeah, so I'm thinking it's one of the things that I wrote down is procrastination. So I may do one on procrastination. Please send to me, since I didn't get to register at sgchris33@gmail.com. Okay. So I'm going to give my contact information so that you can email me. And actually at the end, I have something. So you'll be able to screenshot it and email, go into my pipeline so that I have your information. So procrastination may be my next webinar. Not going to make a promise on when it's going to be, but it could possibly be my next webinar. So let me tell you, since someone asked about part 2, let me share this with you. So I've done this thing in the past called the 30-day journey, which is really a way to help people learn. It goes along with this journal, but it helps people to learn how to daily get in the practice. You know, with anything, it takes practice, right? We have to practice. As I used to hear when I was younger, practice makes perfect, right? So I think it's so important that we learn how to process. So I want to show you, so I've done this journey in the past, so I want to show you this video of people who've taken the 30-day journey.
Was we processed our days every single day for 30 days. There's questions, we had a journal, we went through some of the different parts of our day. Like the first couple of days, I thought, how's this really gonna help me? But by day 30, I was like, wow, thanks are. And I tend to be really critical of myself. And I learned that about myself. And I never knew that. Some awesome group. I love that she spent the last couple minutes of the call every day giving us some kind of wisdom on various topics, identity, gossip, talking to ourselves the right way, healthy habits. And it just went really, really far from me. It's 30 days of your life, and you will for sure learn and grow if you have mindset and put in the work. So that's a wrap. Thank you for listening to this. Have a great day.
Okay, that was one person who took the journey, and I think I had another one here.
This was we processed
Wrong one.
our day.
Sorry.
This was we.
I just want to keep showing you the same one.
It was a group coaching session where we processed our day for 30 minutes every single day. If you don't process your day, or if you've never had a life coach, hit her up. It's a good thing to start. It's good to be mentally healthy. Sometimes when things go on in our day, we just brush it off and say that we're strong enough to go through the next day. But there's so much, it's so important to process your day.
So those are 2 testimonials from people who did the 30-day journey with me. And I'm going to be starting another 30-day journey in October, and wanted to invite you to be a part of that. So it's going to really help. As they talked about, they really had a shift in perspective within the 30 days. I've kind of revamped the 30-day journey. So I'm inviting you to join me on this transformative journey. And you saw 2 testimonies. That was 2 testimonies of how this 30-day journey impacted them. But there's lots more. So again, it's about embracing the good and the bad. Your daily perspective shapes your life, and it's time for a positive change. Some of us get kind of stuck. And it's important to not stay stuck, but to get unstuck, because all of us have things in life that we want to accomplish. And it's in these negative moments, or get stuck in these negative mindsets and perspectives, that we can't move forward. So I am inviting you to be a part of this next journey that starts in October. And how do you do that? It's a 30-day coaching program. You process your day every day. What you'll get is daily coaching emails. So you're going to get a coaching email every single day. We'll have 6 live group coaching sessions, and I will ask lots of thought-provoking questions. I've been told that I ask lots of questions, but anyways, being that I'm a personal executive coach, I get permission to ask thought-provoking questions. My family sometimes thinks I ask too many questions, but as a coach, I get paid to ask lots of questions. So thought-provoking questions, guaranteed positive change awaits you in just 30 days. let's make it happen together. Something is going to shift if you take time in your day every day to process it. So you will get an email every single day. In that email, there will be a In that email, there will be a very encouraging well, let me start with this. In the email, the first thing you'll do is you want to pull out your journal. You can order my journal, but the questions in this journal are going to be different than the questions that are in the email that you get. You could definitely use this journal along with it as just a way to keep up with your 30 days. But the questions that I ask in the journal are a lot different than the questions that I'm asking in this journal. So you're going to get questions. It's going to be a live video of me. When I say live, pre-recorded though, video of me asking the questions, giving you time to process it. It's like I'm walking with you through this every single day. At the end of the video, I will give you like sometimes 2 to 3 minute encouragement on life, leadership, just varying topics. I will share with you gratitude, prayer, all kinds of stuff. So every day that comes directly to your email box. We'll also have 6 live group coaching sessions. Your camera can be on, your camera can be off, doesn't matter. But it will be live. So throughout the 30 days, there will be 6 live group coaching sessions. And then, as I said in the video, there will be thought-provoking questions that you get daily from me. So that's what the 30-day journey looks like, just an opportunity for you to practice what we're talking about. And in 30 days, you should be in a really good pattern if you're taking the time, and you can choose to do this in the morning. I'll have it go out early in the morning, so you can do it in the morning. I suggest the evening, around right before bedtime, taking the time to sit with the video, turn it on, and your journal, and begin to process. So, like I said, 30 days, practice makes perfect. You're doing it with a group of people. We're going to get on 6 times and talk about it. That's about once a week that we'll do that. Ready to shift gears? I would say it's about $6 a day. Coaching and encouragement delivered straight to your inbox. Webinar registrants are going to get a discount, okay? $149. The regular price is $179. The discount's going to end at the end of the week. And honestly, it's the cheapest coaching you will ever get. Basically, you're paying, $30 for each of the 30-minute coaching sessions that we'll do live. So you can't beat that for coaching. Your discounted price is $149. So I'm giving you a break. All those who register for the webinar and attended, you're going to get this discount. So you want to take advantage of it. It's a great way. If you're interested, if you click on this link, it will send you the information that you need to get registered, and then I will have information coming. But it's going to start on Sunday, October the 1st. It'll be around the same time. It'll be 30. The first one will be, each live one is 30 minutes, and will basically do live what you're going to do daily. But of course, there'll be a little spin on that when we are live on video. You'll also have a Facebook page, a private Facebook page, where you can communicate with each other about how your processing is going. You can ask me questions throughout the week. I'll be actively involved in that private Facebook page. And I know the difference it's made in the lives of so many people. It's going to be so much more convenient the way that I'm doing it now versus how I did it before. Before, it was 30 days and we all had to be on every day at a certain time, and people didn't always attend. It made it very hard for me because it was like I had to be on every single day at the same time. I loved it, but it was also very taxing to do it that way. So this gives everybody a little bit of a reprieve. You can do it at your own time during the day or at night, whenever you want to, not at a specific time, except when we have the live groups. So that is the 30-day journey. Will you accept the challenge and join the 30-day journey? I would love, love, love to go on this journey with you starting October the 1st. It's 30 days, so it would be the 1st through the 30th. If you're interested, there is the QR code. Take a picture of the QR code, and then you can press the little yellow and it'll put you in the pipeline, and I can send you all the information on that. Let's start the journey. And if you are interested in individual coaching, I know some of you have been clients in the past. If you need to reconnect and we do some additional coaching, I would love to connect with you again. If you're interested in coaching in general, please, please, please go ahead and take a picture of this link. If you're not sure, but you just want to be informed maybe of the next time I do a webinar, click on this QR code, take a picture of it, click on it, and I look forward to coaching with you in the future. I look forward to inviting you to the next webinar. And thank you, thank you, thank you so much for attending my very first webinar. I appreciate it, and share this with a friend. I will put this up in a Facebook page for those who attended or those who didn't attend. Maybe some people had problems getting on. I'm not sure if people paid attention that there was a link going out, but very excited that you were here with me, and I look forward to coaching with you again soon and being on a webinar with you soon. And that's the end of the webinar, but if you have questions, I will stay on for a few minutes. We have about 3 more minutes. So thank you for attending.